and here to talk DFW high school football is the man who knows it best. It is
not true.
it is Corbett Smith of the Dallas Morning News. Corbett, I feel like, I don't know if you feel this way, I feel like on Fox Sports Southwest on Friday nights, we are just a 4-hour lead-in to your show.
It's probably true. We have actual results. You guys have to just advance a bunch.
Yeah.
And then right at the end, you're like, hey, let's cut to some scores. So we actually have scores. But then we're just the not even the JV. We're like the freshman B team to High School Scoreboard Live. And when you see Craig Way, it's real cool to see Craig Way in action. I've got a lot of respect for him.
You're both just lead-ins to Craig Way.
Well, yeah, actually, that's a good way to put it. Is that we are the freshman and JV games leading up to the varsity at midnight. Is basically how it goes. He is Corbett Smith of the Dallas Morning News. Corbett, another big weekend of high school football across the DFW area. We'll start with the game that kind of everybody had their eye on, and Cedar Hill, a 26-2. Really, I don't know if drubbing's the right word, but
I think it's apt to call it a drubbing. Yeah.
Cedar Hill looked fabulous.
Yeah.
Is it possible that this Cedar Hill team is just as good as they were last year?
Matt Wixon and I were talking about it. My coworker Matt, who went and covered the game for the Morning News, and he says he thinks they're just right there. They've replaced guys going hitter and yon on both sides of the ball, and nevertheless, they are still one of the best teams in the state, if not the best team that's going to be in the Division II playoffs. The way that they handled a DeSoto team who really tested Cibolo Steel, that game was in doubt throughout. And this game certainly was not. They just couldn't get DeSoto could not run the ball. And if you can't run the ball, in inclement weather, you're not going to succeed. And they didn't have a 100-yard rusher and had several turnovers. It was a dominating performance. And I think Cedar Hill's every bit as good as they've been in years past, which is mind-boggling considering how much they graduated.
To stick with the theme of comparing state champions from last year to state champions this year, Allen loses Kyler Murray. They lose a couple of other pieces on that offense, but still 8-0. Another big win over Flower Mound. They look like they're going to run to a 10-0, another perfect season. When you look at this, you've watched Allen maybe more than anybody else in the state. When you compare last year's Allen team to this year's Allen team, how do you compare and contrast them?
It was so dependent on Kyler Murray last year, and that defense, which has really been a strong point this year, and was late in the playoffs last year. The defense really came around. They really struggled at the start of the last season. Kyler Murray just put the team on his back and won games. That's not the case this year. They've had contributions from a bunch of different guys. Seth Green, came in, and here's the thing: the defense we knew was going to be good. They've had so many people transfer in offensively that have become big-time players. Their leading receiver, Lionel McConnell, is from Ohio. Their leading running back, Kirby Bennett, last year played at Parish Episcopal. Their quarterback came in from Minnesota. They've had skilled players come in, from various parts of the country to kind of shore up their deficiencies offensively, and the defense has played as expected.
Now that Katy is almost certainly going Division II, Allen's got.
Hey, I got a text from Matt Stepp saying that might not be the case.
It might not be.
He's just getting our hopes up, and it's not nice.
It's not nice because it's probably there would have to be about 3 or 4 things that go right for that to happen, as opposed to one thing that went right on Friday, which was Tompkins beating Morton Ranch. Now that Katy's, let's for the sake of this conversation, let's say that Katy's going to Division II.
Okay.
Is Allen your favorite in Division I?
It would have to be. I can't think of anybody in the state that's right there with them. I think that Euless Trinity will give them a great ball game, and that's certainly a game that I will circle on my calendar and make sure that I'm at, because Trinity has the ability to compete against anybody just based on what they do. They play great defense and they run the ball, and if you can do those things against any opponent, you're going to be in the ball game. The question I have about Trinity is, can they throw the ball when they have to? Mm-hmm. If they get down by 2 scores, or they get in a situation where they have to convert long third downs late in the game, is Tyler Nateague going to be able to throw the ball? I don't know if he's hit 50 attempts this year. I mean, they throw so infrequently and have had such success with that running game. But Allen's defense is going to be strong enough up front to put them in some third and longs and to test them. And if they can do it, then Trinity might be able to pull off an upset. But right now, Allen is the team to beat. I don't see anybody really positioning themselves. And quite frankly, you look at what the teams have done out of the Houston area once they've gotten into the state final. They haven't necessarily been extremely competitive with the DFW reps in Division I. So I don't see a team coming out of there, like a Pearland from a few years ago. And I don't, you look at what happened to Converse Judson this weekend, they don't necessarily look like a team that can compete at the absolute highest level against a team like Allen.
He is Corbett Smith of the Dallas Morning News on DCTF Live. Join the conversation at hashtag DCTF Live. Corbett, dropping down into 5A real quick, there's Aledo who kind of looms there. I think everybody kind of forgot about Aledo. But then you run into basically Mansfield ISD. And you got Mansfield Lake Ridge, Mansfield Summit. They will duke it out this week. Very excited about this game. Obviously, we've got a ton of time to break that down, but give us an early preview of Lake Ridge and Summit.
Well, Lake Ridge has been our number one team in the season since Timberview fell off. Timberview was that team at the start of the season, and we were talking this morning at a meeting. A little embarrassed about our season predictions here at the Morning News because we had DeSoto and Timberview, and both those temes could hypothetically miss the playoffs.
Hi.
Join the club.
Hi, we're waving. You can't see us, but we're waving.
I think that Lake Ridge has been just really solid all year. They surprised me a couple of times. I saw them a couple of times this year. It surprised me how well they played up front. That was an area of concern going in, but they've been strong on both sides of the ball, in their line. And they've got some of the best skill kids in the area, especially offensively. Jet Duffy has lived up to all the hype that he received over the summer, at all those quarterback camps. He certainly has played well. Duke Carter, as a running back, has been consistent. They're the real deal. I mean, when they beat Longview last year, I think everybody opened their eyes and realized that this is a team that is on the make. Now, Summit's been kind of flying under the radar until recently, and they've done it just by clobbering people. It was a really solid defensive performance against a good Lancaster team. Granted, that was on a sloppy track, and Lancaster, which has been a running team in years past, they've relied more on their passing game this year, and they just couldn't throw the ball on Saturday as one of those games that was delayed. I think they had 61 yards total offense through a couple of picks. But the big question mark heading into this game is the health of Braden Nolan, the quarterback for Summit, who's really played well this year. He was in a sling in the second half of that game. He banged up his shoulder. He told our reporter, Tommy Cummings, on the team that he was fine, and it was just a soreness. But if he's not at 100%, that this game might lose a little bit of luster.
Corbett Smith of Dallas Morning News joining us on DCTF Live. And Corbett, we can't let you go without asking you the same question that we asked Matt Stepp before you.
We're just going to ask everyone this question now.
Yeah, now we're just going to, we'll cycle through.
Okay.
All right.
You can have your last meal at one press box in we'll say in the state. We won't even limit it to DFW, but one press box in the state. Where are you going?
I mean, from the Metroplex, I think you would have to choose one of the flour mounds. They always have just a plethora of options. So you'll have pizza, you'll have Italian food, sometimes you'll have burgers, sandwiches. You'd be able to kind of pick and choose. I know that I'm missing, there's some really great press box food in East Texas.
Mm-hmm.
You talk to a guy like Gabe Brooks, who was covering that for ETSN and now works for Scout. They've got some quality stuff out in East Texas, and that drifts a little bit into the Metroplex. I think Hanby Stadium and the Heat, I've had catfish before, which freshly fried catfish in a press box is never a bad thing. But I'll go with the Flour Mound or Flour Mound Marcus.
Okay.
Well, you just tweeted about chicken and dumplings. Where did you get those from? Where are the chicken and dumplings
Oh,
from?
just across the street. I had to rush out for lunch, but there's a little spot right across the street that has decent chicken and dumplings, and I'm going to go take a nap after this.
He is Corbett Smith. He find his fine work at sportsdaydfw.com. See him on Fox Sports Southwest from 11
at the kitty table.
11 to midnight at the kitty table with David Newberry
closet.
On Sports Day HS. And, of course, follow him on Twitter. Another essential Twitter follow at Corbett Smith DM. And Corbs, appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Seth.